everybody. Hey everybody. And welcome back. Welcome back to the ADHD ASM artist. The ASM artist. Tonight might be a little more on the quick side of videos, just because it's not a super long topic, but we'll see how it goes. This is a video that's been requested a few times, because I mentioned it actually when I was doing my pipe video and talking about my pipe collection. And as you might have guessed, that is cigars. That is cigars, 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 cigars. I mentioned in that pipe video that I enjoyed smoking cigars as well as pipes. So tonight, I'm going to talk mostly about how I store my cigars, and then kind of the little things that I have, like little tools, I guess you'd say, my gear for cigars. But it's not, as I mentioned, it's not a ton. But before we get into that, I went ahead and brought myself a whiskey glass of ice, because I thought what goes better with a cigar, even though I'm not going to be smoking in this room because my wife would kill me. What goes better than a glass of whiskey with a cigar? And tonight I've got Heaven Hill bottled in bond. Bottled in bond. This is their 7-year. We're not going to do a lot. We're not going to get crazy. I do enjoy their bottled in bond. I think Heaven Hill, and I mentioned this in the whiskey video, which if you haven't watched the whiskey video, go back and check that one out, because I talk a lot about this bottle and all my other bottles, which I have like 40 different bottles of whiskey, which is crazy to think. But Heaven Hill was more of like a budget brand, and it still is very reasonable cost-wise, but I really like it. 100 proof, so not bad. It's not gonna give you a ton of bite, ton of tongue burn, none of that. So, yeah. Have a little whiskey with our cigar showing. Take a sip of this. That's good stuff. We'll set that off to the side here. Okay, so let's start with the cigars themselves. I do not have a huge variety. So I've got, right now, this bourbon cigar from Maker's Mark, which is pretty cool. It's sealed in this little, I believe it's plastic, might be glass. Hard to tell, I think it might be plastic, and then it's got the wax that they use on their bottles on the top. I haven't had this cigar. I saw it at the liquor store when I was picking up some whiskey. I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. Might be pretty good. I like Maker's Mark, so let's give it a shot. So, there's that, and then I got a bunch of other ones for a trip with my buddies. These are Davidoff of London. This is their Winston Churchill line. If you haven't heard of Davidoff of London, go check them out. They do have a channel. Those guys have more knowledge of cigars than I think anybody else online. I started watching them through, I believe it's Kirby. I cannot remember what his channel name is, but he does like men's fashion. Great content, really great content. in here. I bought way too many of them because I thought me and the boys were going to be going a little crazier. And then I've got them all left. So I've got the Davidoff. I think this is the Genevieve. This is the Winston Churchill. The Late Hour. And then this one. Oops, sorry. I don't know what this one is called. Robusto, maybe. So these are the only 3 cigars I have on hand right now. Only three types. They're okay. I'm not like super in love with them. I usually like cigars that have just a tad of sweetness, or like a fruity flavor or something. These don't. These are very harsh is not the right word. They're just very plain. They're fine to smoke though. So yeah, if I had to choose, I really like Cohibas. I go with those a lot. I just don't have any of those because I've smoked them all. So you're probably wondering, why do you have a jar that you are storing your cigars in? Well, let me tell you, I saw this on YouTube of storing them without having a humidor, because I do not have a humidor. So this is reasonably cheap. You buy these mason jars, I guess you'd call them, with the sealable top, has a gasket on it, locks shut here. Sorry if you guys can't see it very good. I'm zoomed out about as far as I can. Actually, let me adjust the camera just up a little bit. There, maybe you can see it a little better now. So yeah, I buy these jars. And then with these jars, I buy these Boveda 2A humidity control packets, and these are 69% relative humidity. Again, I saw this on YouTube from another individual that smokes cigars quite a bit, and he said he used the 69, so that's what I went off of. That is definitely what I went off. And actually, it's time for this pack in here to be removed and replaced. And I only say that. That's the one critique I have about these Boveda packs. I don't believe they tell you. I don't believe they turn a color or anything when it's time for them to be replaced. I could be wrong, but yeah, I'm gonna change it just in case. It's been in there for a while. I couldn't even tell you how long. So let's pull one of these out. Sorry, that was kind of loud. So here's one in its pack. So it comes in this sealed pack. So it's not losing its humidity. Set that to the side. I'll read this box for you. So this says global leader in 2A humidity control. Again, 69% relative humidity. And then it's got the relative humidity levels, the quantity needed for how many packs of cigars, etc. General rule, you need 1 pack for every 25 cigars. I'm nowhere near that, so we're set in these little jars. But, yeah, so Boveda, they seem to be working fine for me. I'm going to set these off to the side, though. And we'll get this pack back out. And we'll drop this new pack. Drop this new pack. Drop this new pack. They are kind of squishy, like they've got a liquid or like a gel inside, which is interesting. I'm gonna try to do this without wrecking your all's ears. The trusty box opening knife always comes through. always comes through. You guys have seen this countless times. There we go. So, all you gotta do, cut it open, and that pack has quite a few in there. I don't remember how many came in a pack, but it's a lot. Let me count them for you. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So it came in a pack of 12, and they last a while. So take that, drop it down in, and you're good to go. Reload your cigars in. Kind of stand this up. Now this, I would recommend getting a jar with a little bit bigger neck. You don't have to. I got these ones because I wanted a tall jar. I also have this jar, which is a little shorter, a little fuller. Actually, they might be the same thickness, but a little shorter, right? Easier to reach the cigars. So I've got 2 of those. I've yet to use that one. I did have some pipe tobacco in that one. For a while, it worked well for that as well. These jars seal really well. I got these jars on Amazon. So yeah, just search like large sealable jar, glass jar on Amazon, and this will come up. And then yeah, get the ones with the clasp like this, so you can lock it shut and make sure it holds in all that. It looks like these ones say "Eat Neat" on top. Eat neat, eat neat, eat neat. Let me scoot these to the back and let me take a drink of my Heaven Hill. Now, a couple things that you need with your cigars. Maybe not need, but you're probably going to want to have. Number 1, a way to cut your cigar. I have this cheap little cigar cutter. Works okay. I would like to get a new one here in the coming weeks. They have ones that do different cuts, like V-cut. This one's just one clean cut off the end. Yeah, I recommend this rather than biting. When you bite it, you can do it, and I've done it before. You know, if you don't have a cutter, you're just gonna get a lot more tobacco in your mouth. It's just not as clean of a cut, and same with like using a knife and stuff. It just never seems to get the job done. These are just so quick and easy and slice right through it. Again, this is a cheap one. This is like got it at like a smoke shop for like $4 or something silly. Might even have got it for free with one of my orders. Put the cigar right in the end. Actually, for those of you who may not smoke cigars, let me show you. So I'm not going to unwrap this because I don't want to, but you can see this end has the tobacco. You can see it in there, and it's more squared up, more cut. This end is rounded. This is the end you smoke out of, and usually they have the labeling in the direction that you would smoke it. So long end is where you're smoking down, short end is where you're smoking from. So you'd take this cutter and you would put that little rounded end down just a hair, just enough. You don't want to take too, you don't want to go down all the way and cut past. You want to cut about right in half of that where it rounds. You're going to cut that end off, and then you're good to go. Now, what a lot of people do is they put it right in their mouth and they puff and they puff and they puff and they puff and just keep lighting it and lighting it. Do not do that. Toast your end a little bit. So take your lighter. I don't know why I put that back in there. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So, as I just mentioned, your lighter. That's another, and you guys have seen this lighter before. This is my lighter that I use for a lot of things. lighter, 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 flame, flame. I love flames. You can just get lost in a flame, can't you? Very easy to get lost in a flame. Okay, anyways, you take this, hold it out on the end that you're gonna burn. This is your cut end. And you're gonna open up your lighter and you're just gonna toast it. You're gonna toast it not in your mouth, just hold it there and kind of burn the end a little bit. Not burn it, but we call it toasting. So you're gonna toast it up, you're gonna toast it up, you're gonna toast it up until you see a little bit of ember there. And once it seems like it's pretty evenly toasted on the end, pretty evenly caught on fire, then you can put it in your mouth and get a good drag, you know. That's gonna prevent you from getting a lot of like smoke instead of like the good tobacco flavor you're gonna get when you just stick it in your mouth and light it and just inhale, inhale, inhale to try to get it going. You're gonna get a lot of like burnt flavor, a lot of burnt taste, so do not do that. Toast your cigars. I mean, you can do what you want, but that's just what I recommend, and that's what I've watched a lot of cigar guys do. Okay, next, ashtray. I didn't have an ashtray for a very long time. I did not have an ashtray for a very long time, but I got this one recently just because you don't want to be using like a dish. Most commonly I would use like a bowl, an old bowl, or pop cans. You cut them in half, or beer cans and cut them in half and just use the bottom of the beer can. It's such a like college thing to do. Yeah, I'm a grown man. I can afford to get a $10 ashtray online. That's all this was. I got it for $10 on Amazon. Super cheap, super easy. That's pretty good sound. But yeah, this sits too. So I figure if I'm sitting out with a buddy, and you could probably put one in here sideways a little bit if you wanted to, you could probably fit more than just the two. And that's all I really needed, just somewhere for people to ash. You don't want to be ashing, you know, on your concrete, because we have a concrete patio. You don't want to be ashing out on there. You want to have a designated place to ash, especially dry seasons in Tennessee. That's good. Outside of a lighter, another great way to light your cigars is with trusty old matches. Trusty old matches. Actually got these ones in Santorini, Greece. We went there for our 5-year anniversary, actually. And we went to this Aegean luxury hotel. Booked it through Costco, folks. 2 thumbs up. Costco does a killer job of finding these hotels. We've now done 2 trips through Costco. Greece and Ireland, Scotland. And man, they were bangers. A lot of fun. They do a great job. But yeah, kind of getting off topic there. Sorry, folks. This was a fine cigar and smoking lounge in, I believe it's Chicago suburbs, that I had gone to. Yeah, Chicago suburbs, Villa Park, Forest Park. Don't remember which one I went to. But yeah, I got these matches there, and these are actually made for cigars. You know, they have a pretty good burn. They've got a long stem on them, so they burn a little longer than normal matches. Highly recommend matches like this for cigars so that you can keep a light for longer. Little matches, like normal matches, like matchbox matches, the short ones, make it a little harder to do, to get a consistent flame in order to toast your cigar. So matches are definitely a good alternative to the lighter. In addition to the lighter, you're gonna need your lighter fuel. I just go with the Zippo. I'm sure there are other brands out there. This is just the easiest one for me to find, and it's, works well with these Zippo lighters. So that's what I do. Actually, if you can hear that, but I'm almost out of this. I use my lighters a decent amount. Sounds cool in this tin can. So yeah, that's my setup for my cigars. Super simple, super easy. Like I said, I do these Bovita humidity packs. I do these jars, glass jars that are sealable off of Amazon. Drop the humidity pack in there, throw my cigars in with it, boom, you're good to go. Ashtray, place to ash, cigar cutter, and a fire source. And really, that is all you really need. I mean, in my opinion, I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there who are going to argue that no, you need to have a proper humidor. And maybe a lot of guys would argue against using matches or lighter. I have no preference. I can go back and forth. Not a big deal to me. I'm not a snob, as I hope you guys have realized by now. I'm very nonchalant about some of this stuff. I just like doing it, so I do it. And I recommend that for you guys too. Don't care about what other people think about how you do something, about your collection. Just do it. If you enjoy smoking cigars, find the most economical way to smoke cigars. If you can't, go all out. Just do it. Same for the pipes. If you like smoking pipes, go buy a $20 pipe from a smoke shop and get some tobacco and get, the cheapest pipe stand you can get. And the cheapest lighter you can get. You can go get matches, or you can get just a cheap gas station lighter. You don't even need to get a Zippo. Zippos are kind of expensive in my opinion, but they are good quality. But just whatever makes you happy, and whatever you can do with your means, do it. I like to be on the cheaper side for cigars because I'm not a savant of cigars. I don't know enough about cigars. I just know I like smoking them, and I know a couple names, and I know that you need to keep them humidity controlled and that sort of thing. And that's about the extent of it. And it's similar for my pipes, I do know a little bit more about the pipes, but yeah, hopefully I'm not ranting too much for you all. I'm more so just trying to say, do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. And if you like smoking cigars, find a way to smoke cigars within your means. So, yeah, that's it. Like I said, sort of on the shorter end for a video. But you guys did want me to talk about cigars and how I store my cigars and my gear for cigars, or my tools for cigars. I wish that didn't click so loud. And that's really it. That's all I have for the cigars in particular. Now, if you mix in all my smoking stuff, this with the pipes, my collection and preparation tools go up a little bit. But yeah, I feel like I'm rambling a little bit at this point. I always forget to tell you guys earlier in the videos to like and comment and subscribe. Let me know if you enjoy smoking cigars. Let me know what you guys do for your cigar setup and storage, and maybe if you have any tools that you have for your cigars that I don't have. I don't smoke inside. I don't smoke in my truck. I always smoke outside, so I don't have like any fancy filtration system or anything like that for the house. Nothing like that. But I have seen some guys with some pretty sick man caves online and on YouTube that they're smoking in, and maybe one day I will have that. But I'm always just good with going outside and lighting up, and usually it's in company. I usually don't do it alone. I will smoke a pipe alone. Don't usually do cigars alone. Just not my vibe. But maybe it's yours, and there's no judgment here. It's all about personal preference. So that's all I have for you guys. Like, subscribe, comment if you're willing, and subscribe if you're willing. And also, I always forget to mention, crush that hype button. Crush that hype button for me, because I guess that has a huge influence on how well these videos do, from what I've read anyway. But yeah, thank you all. I appreciate you all. Let's keep going. You guys are awesome, and I can't wait to bring you more and more videos. So thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.